Hello everyone, thanks for tuning in to Sims Workshop. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. So, today we are reviewing This Gilded Abyss by Rebecca Thorne. Fun fact, she got her MFA at Emerson College, which is where I got my BA, so whoop whoop. Yeah, I actually read the acknowledgements for once. I usually don't. So this is kind of a almost 20,000 Leagues meets Under the Sea meets 28 Days Later. So that was really fun. And I want to say loosely 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. You know, it follows Sergeant Nix Mars. I actually wrote her last name in my notes. Look at that. Look at me being productive. She's suffering lots of PTSD from, you know, she's in the military. Kind of like submarine, military, monsters in the ocean. I mean, it's a fantasy. You know, just think Krakens and people going goo, right? So, and you know, she has massive survivor's guilt, right? Because one of her nearest and dearest died trying to save her, except, you know, she didn't need saving because she was already on land. So, she's been hired, right, to be the bodyguard for Princess Cassandra. Who was Princess Cassandra? Her ex-girlfriend. So there's a whole lot of tension between these two characters, and I'm living for their tension. They're kind of enemies to lovers in a way. They hate each other, but they love each other. Then a little toxic, for sure, a little toxic. But they do find their way back to each other because there's an infection going on this massive luxury submarine that's going to the underwater city of the fall, right? An infection. And that's where the 28 Days Later comes in. Because these guys are like zombies, but they're not like Walking Dead zombies. These are like, the way they described them are like fast, angry zombies. And you're like, I'm like, oh, this is 28 Days Later, but in the water. In a submersible. You know what I'm saying. In a submarine, there is no escape. This is a horror. You know, you look at the cover and you're like, oh, this is like a cozy fantasy. No, it's not a cozy fantasy, but it's not exactly a horror either. There are lots of horror elements, but it's not like scary. It's a survival horror. And it's a lot of fun to actually read the book. Because it wasn't scary, but it was really, really interesting. It was very intriguing to see, like, oh, are they going to survive? Like, no, run away. But you're, like, excitement. Like, it builds a lot of excitement as you're reading, even though there's not a whole lot, honestly, happening with the plot. There's really not. But when you think of a horror movie, is there really a whole lot happening with the plot? It's just someone trying to kill them, and you've got your group, and they're just trying to survive. The plot usually unfolds near the end when you're like, oh, this is happening because of such and such reasons. You have the gods, right, in this fantasy realm. / a titan. That is what's really causing this infection, so to speak. And their god is technically supposed to be dead. And like, nope, your god's very much alive. And oh, also there's this titan that you need to worry about. And they're just like, oh my god, a titan in the water, and we're trapped in the water. We have no place to go. So there's not a whole lot of story for the majority of it. It's a really quick read, but there's a whole lot of tension, you know? And for someone like me who loves horror movies, I'm reading it for that tension, like, oh my god, especially once that reveal came, like, oh, this is a 28 Days Later zombie. This is not a Walking Dead zombie. This is a fast zombie. That part for me was honestly one of the most exciting parts of the novel, because it does breathe into that tension. You know, you already have the sexual tension going on between Nix and Cassandra. And yes, there is a spicy scene that does involve a vibrator. And no, for someone who's not really into smut, I was not bothered by that at all. I do love a sapphic romance, but it was also written in a very tasteful way as well. It wasn't overtly graphic or explicit. You know what's happening. Like, when characters are having sex, I don't really need all of the extra gratuitous detailing, you know? A little goes a long way. And in the case of the vibrator, that was a great scene. It was excellent. And it was so well written. Like, props to Thorne. Maybe this will actually inspire me to get my MFA from Emerson. Who has the time? I have no time. I don't even know where I carve out enough time to do this between job and kids. Whatever. Neither here nor there. But it was a great scene. The scene with the vibrator, because it wasn't uncomfortable and it wasn't cringy. It's just, you have these two couple who are kind of toxic for each other. I liked Nyx more than I liked Cassandra, but I didn't dislike Cassandra. You know, Cassandra's a princess. She really does lean heavily into the political maneuvering aspect of her position. So I got it, you know. She wasn't like a Cersei Lannister, thank God. But she's very stubborn. She's very headstrong. She's very practical in a way. Very like, these are the facts. But she does keep secrets. You know, she does keep secrets that do hinder Nyx's investigation. Like, she's like, you already know what this is, don't you? And it's like, kind of. I have an idea. That's Cassandra's usual response. And Nyx is like, give me the information. So you really side with Nyx more often than you side with Cassandra. But their tension in the book is stellar. It is stellar. And it's one of the other driving forces of the book. You know, so when you have all that sexual tension and you have this horror survival movie aspect of the story as well, it really makes for a really quick and easy read. Like, I think I read it in a day. I didn't put it down. I read it in, 2 days. I couldn't put it down. It was really, really good. And it was really, really quick. And you have all that tension that's just driving you into the story. Like, you are seated. You are there. You're just like watching it unfolding in popcorn kind of novel. That's what this is. And I also like the horror aspect as well. I'm a girl who loves slashers. I don't mind the more gruesome they are. A couple of exceptions. But, you know, the gruesomeness doesn't bother me. But this novel as well, if you're someone who doesn't like horror, you're not going to be bothered by it, because it's not, just like with the smut, it's not gratuitous. You know, you see some zombies and they're just kind of there. And you just kind of get the adrenaline rush of like running away while you're reading the book, which is so good. Like, I love how I was able to feel that adrenaline from the characters. But it's not like entrails are all over the place. You know, it's not super horror movie-esque either. So it's not like super spicy and it's not super horror. It's a nice balance of both of those elements to make this fantasy. And that's what really makes it stand out. Like, it's really unique. I mean, underwater, submarine. God, it really reminded me of the Poseidon Adventure. Oh, ghost ship. Ghost ship, but underwater with zombies. Fast zombies. It was great, honestly. It was a lot of fun to read. It's a really quick read. I'm really angry I have to wait for book 2 now, because it leaves off on a cliffhanger, and I'm like, what the fuck? That's how it ends? Like, duh. Ugh. I mean, just, it was, that cliffhanger. It's not like a terrible cliffhanger, but it's, considering you're like leaving off on all that adrenaline from surviving and uncovering titans and gods and all that fantasy aspect, and you're trapped underwater on your way to an underwater city that could be in danger. If anyone's left alive because of said titan that's kind of unleashing this infection / curse, as I want to call it. Like, what the fuck? They're the last 2 alive on this submarine, as far as we know, and they're in a room, and they're wounded, and they're kind of stranded with zombies. And it's like, And yes, that's how it ends. I didn't mean to spoil it for you, but it really got to me. So it kind of just came out. And I apologize for that. But like, come on, man! But now I'm really excited for book 2. So when a book leaves me like that excited and that, you know, happy for the second book, I'm like, yeah, you did your job well, guys. Kudos to you. So, it was a really, really fun book, if you couldn't tell. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Really quick read. Kind of effortless, honestly, if you think about it. So yeah, highly recommend picking up the book and checking it out. So on that note, thank you all for tuning in. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with our book with your friends. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and as always, happy reading.